Welcome to the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast, brought to you by Join Cycling for Decathlon AG2R La Mondiale team. Another team with big changes, big sponsor changes in 2025, even removing the institution of the brown shorts. Benji hasn't got it in the notes for their recent history, but the biggest change to me was, well, what happened with them, Benji, in the structure?
Well, back in the day, 2010s was the Bardet era of the team, I would say. Then in 2021, they had a cash injection from Citroën joining, so the team became AG2R Citroën. And during that period, I think their transfers, their money that they spent was mainly on building some kind of classic squad with the likes of Greg van Avermaet, Oliver Naassen, and so forth. Greg van Avermaet joining that team for a lot of money and not necessarily delivering on that. Definitely not delivering, I would say. They also signed this quokka from Australia called Ben O'Connor that had a pretty good season on NTT the year before, where he won one or two Giro stages, maybe one, maybe two, I don't remember vividly. And throughout the next 3 years, he's been part of that team. Decathlon then joined the team in 2024, and that's made some uproar at the start of the start of this year, because they had the Van Rijssel bikes coming in, but also the fact that Decathlon was kind of seen as this like, okay, budget bike area. I was low-key kind of happy with my Decathlon bike back in the day, but would a bike like that be good for the pros, Van Rijssels, etc.? So that discussion was a whole debate in the preseason. Oh, this team is going to be riding on Decathlon bikes, whatever. Season starts. I had a pretty fucking good start to the season, but I want to note something first. Including 2024, Ben O'Connor has had 4 top 5s at Grand Tours in 4 seasons. That's this team. I'm sorry, but that's a great palmarès across the 4 years. We can say 2024 getting a top 5 at the Giro and a podium at the Vuelta. That's definitely an overperformance for Ben O'Connor, and I don't expect him to replicate that in 2025. But looking at 4 top 5s at Grand Tours in 4 seasons, it's not the only time he's done it. He's top 5 the Tour de France before, similar fashion, going in breakaway, taking time, etc. So he's that kind of rider that always finds a way. He always finds a way to get something he wants. And I love to see that. So he definitely paid off as his value for the team. They probably underpaid him the first year of his contract, because when he came from NTT, if I recall, right?
Well, they probably underpaid their contract extension offer, given that he's left. Now, maybe he wanted a change of environment, but probably they paying old Benoit Cosner for a bit too much and offered him Ben a little bit too little for what they're delivering now. I know one's French, one's Australian, of course.
But also, we'll go into it later. I feel like when I look at the outgoing transfers and the incoming ones, there's like a bit of a difference in the amount of money that goes out versus coming in. You know, I don't remember which riders got extended this year, so maybe a lot of riders got a more expensive extension. They spent money on Victor Lafay a year ago. That didn't end up going well because of injuries, if I recall correctly. That didn't pay off so far.
And let's be clear, because Max Walscheid give an interview saying he's the least professional rider in the peloton?
Yes.
So you want to give him...
that turns out positively in the future.
He was good in Guangxi, so actually, like, you know, that's just an interview. It is a funny comment, but like, if he was injured, he was professional enough to get himself back into shape to be competitive in China at the end of October, which a lot of riders don't do. You missed the biggest change, Benji, for this team. The brown shorts gone.
Brown shorts, get out.
And remember they took the brown shorts out. They had the new kit. I thought it was quite nice. O'Connor, he won in Mercia or something in a one-day race, and then they changed the kit again, half in spring, to the new like astrophysics star one, which just looks all right, but it was another blue one. I was like, I wish they'd stuck with the other one. So they did change to make Decathlon happy. So clearly Decathlon are sort of running the show. A lot of changes in senior management. They had I don't know if they have a new like general manager. They, I don't think Vincent Lavenu got ousted after the Tour de France, the original team owner who'd sold the team. He got sort of booted, basically. He was the man who, in the Netflix series in 23 Tour de France, said this is about O'Connor. This is a rider that sponsors won't pay for, but in the end, O'Connor saved the second half of their season. So,
he's been the most valuable team rider on their team in the last 4 years. So that was one of the dumbest takes in hindsight ever.
Yeah. So a lot of changes, but certainly in terms of results, they also did it on the. I mean, this is a team we've kind of said has been part of the bottom end of the table in the mire with Cofidis and Arkea not winning very much. 30 victories on the road. Last in 2023, they had 9. They more than tripled their win total from both 22 and 23. In 23, they won 3 World Tour races. In 24, they won how many World Tour races, Benji? 6,
I think. Yes.
Okay.
My math is mathing.
And O'Connor's Grand Tour results were excellent too.
Yeah, one Grand Tour win last year, now 3, so also tripled in that regard. Yeah, you're right. O'Connor's Grand Tour results are the biggest thing here. I want to start with those. We have to start with those. O'Connor finished placement 4 at the Giro, just out of the podium after illness in week 3. Would he have podiumed without that illness? I don't know. We don't know. Could have been, maybe not. I'm leaning towards not right now. They also won 2 stages there. Valentin Paré-Panther won on Boca de la Selva, is my guess.
Yeah, he dropped another French rider.
Yeah, true. Vendrame then won on stage 19, maybe the Zapata stage. These riders winning a Grand Tour stage, winning a Giro stage, that's what you're dreaming of course. Valentin Paré-Panther, maybe before this year, I was arguably saying he's kind of in the shadows of Aurélien. I saw Aurélien as the better one of the two before 2024. And Aurélien was kind of the weaker one of the two in 2024. So kind of went upside down in that regard. They're also splitting up next year, so that's a bit of an odd side, but we'll take it. Vendrame, a guy that's won 2 Giro stages. Wasn't he the guy that won the Giro stage when George Bennett and Brambilla were fighting?
Yep. This was kind of similar. Narvaez was fucking about with the other group behind. Kind of similar. I don't think they came to blows, but it's the in the Giro they overperformed. Yeah, Tour de France.
Underperformance. I don't remember anything outside of Felix Gall underperforming, so they must have underperformed with the rest of their team as well, is my guess, based on that memory. Do you remember anything else at the tour? I couldn't tell you for the life of me.
I'm not doing a bit. Was he really?
What was he at the tour? He was at the Dauphiné, right, where he got stomped by Pedersen?
He was at the tour, yeah. He was 4th on one of the stages.
I couldn't have, like, if this was a trivia question, I would have gotten it wrong. La Vuelta.
Yeah, but
O'Connor, podiuming, 2nd place behind Primoz Roglic after being in the red jersey for God knows how long after stage 6, where he won the stage, got 6 minutes on everyone. Yes, was he a bit lucky in the way the other teams responded? Probably, but you got to put yourself in that position to get lucky in the first place. And it's not like they weren't trying to catch him in the second half of the stage either. They were trying, and teams. He was just very, very strong that day. Very, very strong that day, and he pulled it off, eventually podiuming the race. He didn't win the race, but it's still a fantastic result for O'Connor. So those are the headline results, right? 3 stage wins in Grand Tours, plus 2nd at the Vuelta, 4th at the Giro. But outside of that, the start of the season was pretty great too. Benoit Cosnefroy in the classics, I would say, winning Brabantse Pijl, 4th at Flesch, 6th at Strade. Winning Brabant is kind of what you'd expect for a Benoit Cosnefroy, winning 1 race like that per season. I wouldn't expect more personally. I wouldn't expect less. Is he probably getting paid for more? Probably, but I didn't choose his payroll. Paul Lapare was a really strong rider. I think he started. Didn't he start with Loire Atlantique or something, or Cholet in February, where he was really successful, or maybe both? And then moved up. We shouted Amstel Gold Race for him. Top 5 that race. Got a stage win in Itzulia Basque, like you said. Oliver Naassen still getting 7 at RVV. That's actually kind of the result you hope for if you're an Oliver Naassen in this era of cycling. But also, is it weird that one of the more spectacular wins of this year is also the O'Connor win on Jebel Jais, because that was such an unexpected team tactical performance where they had like the lead out attacking with O'Connor in the wheel and then O'Connor launching from that wheel, eventually making it first to the line. I'm sorry, but I love that because I wasn't expecting it on Jebel Jais, you know?
That was so good. Like, I really, really enjoyed that. That was Valentin Perry-Pantra, I think, doing the lead out, the little man.
Question.
So,
I don't know if you have the notes in front of you, but if you do, hide them. Dorian Godon, which World Tour win did he have this season? Okay. I was going to ask the question, which was the French rider that won two stages at Romandy, but I accidentally said the name Dorian Godon first. So I just ruined the entire question I was trying to set up. But I was reminded by that. That was like the clear sign to me of like, okay, this team stepped up. It's not just one rider stepping up. It's not just O'Connor stepping up. It's not just Lapera becoming showing that he has the talent. It's not just Benoit Cosnefroid winning his Brabant Sepel, but also Dorian Godon ending up winning 2 versatile sprint stage in Romandy. What do we think is the reason behind this step up? Is it the supposedly godlike Van Rijssel bike? Is it the culture within the team that changed? Is it performance side of the team that changed? Is it just one win comes in and the team is on a roll and that keeps going, or what's happening here?
Better equipment, more money for performance. So maybe they hire more nutritionists, testing, logistics, recovery, better riders, luck. I don't know. Maybe their riders that they signed went into their peak, like Valentin Perry-Pantra.
Yep.
Scheduling could have been better, because it's also not like they won a whole, like, way more World Tour races.
Yeah,
like O'Connor's Grand Tour and stage race results improved a bit. Maybe he had a different environment. Maybe there was like a change of who was managing people. I don't know. But it's also not like they were dominating. So it wasn't, it was both like a huge change in wins, but also it all kind of makes sense because, again, it's a season in 2 halves. Like, they started really well, but actually they won 4 races after May. So they won, I'm not counting Natty Champs. So hold on, let me count. 1, 2, 3. So 27 wins for the year, not including Natty Champs, and 23 of them were May or before. Yep. And then O'Connor saved the second half of their year. If you take out O'Connor, which is a big if, of course, but actually the second half of the year was not good at all.
Yeah.
So maybe they did what Intermarché did 2 years ago, where they kind of like peaked for, like, leveraged everything for spring. I don't know, but
question.
Yeah.
How is this team doing when it comes to the UCI ranking?
Oh, they're fine. Yeah.
Okay.
They were
I was
sixth,
kind of expecting that.
6th in the ranking this year. Over the 2-year cycle, they're now in 11th. So they're fine.
They're in the Benji doesn't care about you zone.
Yeah.
But I'd argue this is definitely a successful season for Decathlon AG2R. So major step forward in every possible way. But my main concern is that going to continue towards 2025? And is your success on the bike going to continue towards 2025, my friend?
It will be. If you, I want to do this is like I've been waiting to do this for the plug for Join Cycling, because there's no better proof. There's no better proof of the pudding of improving than doing like an out and back, which you've been doing for years. I've been doing an out and back here on the Gold Coast. It's like a 40k out and back, literally one road. I was always wonder, why do I never crash on the Gold Coast? Because I run a straight road for 20 kilometers one direction, turn around, right back 20 kilometers in a straight line. And I looked at my times this year after I've been on the Joint Cycling program all year, and basically I don't want to toot my own horn, Benji, but yeah, I averaged like 4 kilometers an hour quicker on this segment at like my endurance pace, just cruising.
So there was just more wind behind you, right?
No, it's an out and back, so the wind is nets
fair.
out. At the same rate of perceived exertion, just like at endurance pace, and I couldn't believe it, to be honest. And so I was so happy with that. And yeah, I'm on my join plan while I'm here.
You're talking kilometer per hour. Why are you not talking in like power? Or are you trying to to hide your watts so that the competition doesn't know about it, or?
I wasn't. It was like one. What was it? Like 180, 185 normalized for like 2 hours. Which is like not anything out of this world. But compared to like 150, 160, it does make a big difference. Also, I got to admit, I was on a slightly better bike. Must be said, but that's if you go and look at my Strava, it's all public. I've only done like 5,500 kilometers this year. It's not like I've been training the house down, and now I'm really, really happy at the level I'm riding at. I'm going to be able to enjoy my time riding around the hills here in the Gold Coast hinterland before the TDU, which is my next big goal. So go and check out Join Cycling down below. It's got a training plan for everybody. That's just the Lanterne Rouge plan I did in the 10 weeks before I came back to Australia to get in shape for summer. And I can't believe actually how quickly I improved with that. So go and check it out through the link down below. A question on Decathlon, Benji. That's their 2024 year. Was it a success?
Yep.
Yes or no?
I think so. Yes.
Yep. It was a success.
I want to bring it to the next question. Will it continue in 2025? And that's where the outgoing transfers will have their mark, because we're starting off with a big one. The guy we've been glazing in this entire episode, Ben O'Connor, is leaving for Jayco Alula. And there's probably some financial reason why he's leaving, because, well, first of all, it's probably easier to be in an environment of Australian people when you're Australian than to be in a French environment if you're Australian. That's like a major part as well. But I think the major reason that he would leave this team based on the outgoing and incoming transfers is probably because Jayco paid him more as well. And as a consequence, leaving to Jayco. That's my view on things. But that takes away, arguably, outside of Felix Gall, their only GC rider. And Felix Gall is not even a consistent GC rider.
They're looking like there's just no way you can think Gall will podium the tour or anything like that at the moment. He just has way too many flaws. So yeah, I think losing O'Connor, I think they should have made a bigger effort to keep him, to be honest, because it's not like they went and signed. Like if they signed Hindley, I could understand it. And Hindley was available. Available, and Red Bull signed him, or extended him. And it's not like Hindley gets the freedom to do everything he wants at Red Bull. And Decathlon could have offered him full Giro leadership as a guy who's won the race before.
Do you think a rider like O'Connor also gets offers from like the big teams? Because you're talking about Hindley.
O'Connor's so underrated. I don't want to speak out of school too much, but yeah, he's very underrated because he just never had that, like, it's like Daniel Jones for the New York Giants, right? He's quarterback for the Giants. Exactly. And he's earned over $100 million US. He's fucking bad. Like, he's just mid. And for some reason, maybe because he went to Duke, maybe because whatever, he just had that veneer to him, that shine to him, and he just keeps getting overrated and overpaid. And
sounded a lot like the actor from The Fugitive to me.
Yeah, well, he might be a fugitive from New York this year when they cut him. So,
okay.
And then there's some riders who they're hyped as juniors, and for whatever reason, they keep getting big contracts, second, third time, even though it's just really not happening. But they got that shine to it. And then there's the opposite end of the spectrum. There's riders like O'Connor who've been in shit situations. They've gone NTT, folding team, money problems, still performs. Gino Maeda also performed there. And then goes to Decathlon, 1 year deal, immediately performs on, let's be honest, Decathlon, or AG2R as they were known in 2021, not exactly the bastion of excellence, and still performing. And he does it in a different way. He doesn't do it with huge watts per kilo, beautiful performances. But he does it. He has cojones, Catalunya, Jebel Jais, and still not. Yeah, like I don't understand. Some guys get a lot of interest, some don't. I don't know why.
Trick question,
Jake.
Who would you rather have in your team, Simon Yates or Ben O'Connor?
To do what?
Let's say if you're a super team like Visma Lease Bike.
To like do a nuclear lead out on Col de la Loze?
Yes.
Yates.
Okay. I think that's logical. But
To be
if you're looking for a top
good
5
across the
Grand Tour
calendar
rider,
and to score 3,000 plus UCI points as a leader and pick up World Tour wins, probably O'Connor.
I agree with your assessment for the reason also that, well, I don't want to give any spoilers for the Jayco podcast on the other end that will come later this year, but I'd argue that he's also Australian, so that's a major factor there as well when it comes to sponsor.
Simon Yates
But-
kind of, people think he's Australian. He's been on the team so long.
True. Valentin Panepintre, not a guy that won a Grand Tour stage for this team this year, leaving to Soudal Quickstep. Hell of a steal by Quickstep. We can say steal, but probably wasn't very cheap either, I would guess. Alex Bourdin, the guy from the same Giro that was also really good, was in the white jersey for a long time in that race. Going to EF. That's another climber out the
But
door.
he's leaving because of Bodamidol. So he's like, there's no reason why they wouldn't have
Bodamidol?
extended it. Yeah, so he tested positive for tramadol in the Giro
Tramadol.
23.
Yeah.
Once? Anyway,
Yes.
you don't get a suspension for it. You just get your results nullified because it wasn't an anti-doping rule violation in 23, but he's a French GC talent. He was so good, really good in the Giro this year. There's just no way. If he didn't have that on his record, they would have extended him. So that's, to me, that's why he's leaving.
Okay. Larry Warbaz leaving to Tudor. Damien Touzé to Cofidis. Frank Bonamour, biological passport. I wrote that there as the team he was going to, but that is not a team. That is what he had issues with, which is why he's leaving the team as well. Jaakko Hänninen, the Finn guy, is going to Nice Metropole. So back down to is that a Conti team or a club team? Maybe just I think club team, eh?
No, it's Conti. It's Conti, I think.
Okay, my bad. Retailleau, Total Energy, and Edvald Boasson-Hagen to retire. I gotta say. I thought Boasson-Hagen retired 5 years ago. I'm sorry.
I thought he's on Total.
I thought he perished with Dimension Data.
Yeah.
But yeah, first things first, which of these riders will be missed? O'Connor, Panepintre, Baudin. The rest, Warbaz, Touzé, and so forth, irrelevant to this team.
Yeah.
Panepintre, O'Connor, and Baudin is what you want in a team.
But they're 3 of their 5 best riders, and one's their best rider. Like, O'Connor was a top 6, top 7 rider in the world this year by actual results provided, let's say. Maybe not level, but results provided. So, and they're losing those guys. It's and I think Valentin Panepintre, I mean, how are you letting him go to Quickstep? He's French.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's not like he's on $1 million at Quickstep. So
Quickstep's not the team that would pay $1 million.
No. So it's kind of surprising. Baudin, yeah, maybe it's the tramadol thing where their hands are tied and the Decathlon owners said, you already signed Bonamour, which is they weren't obviously not happy about. And so this guy's got to go.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why, because otherwise, Baudin on performance alone is like a must extend. He's a 23-year-old French rider with his prospects. So, the incoming Benji.
Yes. I want to start with arguably the worst transfer of the last 1.5 teams we've done. Stefan Bissiger from EF to Decathlon AG2R. I am completely bearish on Stefan Bissiger. I see no value for this rider in this team. And yes, I think he's going to be added to their Cobble team, and that's probably where he'll have the most value because he top 30 Roubaix. But outside of that, I've got no clue
Top 30
why they want to
Roubaix.
sign Bissiger. But what else am I going? He can't TT anymore. He's not going fast in the time trial anymore, so that's not going to happen. So Cobble is the only thing I can look at. Or are we looking at the 4th guy in the lead out for Sam Bennett in fucking Ketterjouden and Carrick?
Yeah. Bissiger's like the worst way to spend your money. But I don't know what I guess they're like, oh, he's from sort of Europe and he speaks German. Must be good at classics.
There's a lot of people in fucking Europe that can speak German that are better.
Yeah, I know. But, yeah, that's, I don't know what. So he's going to be in the classics team, I guess. Maybe they think he can help with their TT development if that wants to be a focus. But he's just nowhere. He's not even like a moderate TT rider. Like he's not even like there's Remco, Ganna, Tarling, right?
Yeah.
And then there's Kung Van Aert. And then Bissegger's like not even near that tier.
He's tier 5 right now.
Yeah, like
he was great 4 years ago. At exactly 25 kilometer long time trials, shorter was a problem and longer was a problem.
Yeah, so that's not the best. They've signed Callum Scottson. That's not a bad signing. He's 28.
Yep.
He's going to be a climbing domestique.
And he's going to be cheaper relative.
Yeah, he'll be pretty cheap, one would think. Johannes Stauner Mittet ended his contract with Visma to go to Decathlon AG2R. I think he did an interview with Benson.
Was it a buyout or is it a mutual agreement to like?
Yeah, it had to be a mutual agreement because he had a contract.
Okay. But yeah. But also, I think we spoke about this transfer before, and I looked at the situation and I felt like, okay, from Stonemit's perspective, it's logical. You want to stay in World Tour and want that opportunity. From Visma's perspective, sorry, but Stonemit hasn't necessarily delivered in the last year, even though he was talented before that, and he's probably still talented, but it hasn't come out anymore. So this is opportunity to do that. And if you're Decathlon, it's 100% worth the gamble, right?
Yeah, I mean, you say it hasn't come out yet, but this was his first year in World Tour.
Yeah, it's early to judge it. I agree with that.
He's a neo-pro. And so
can we expect every neo-pro to deliver that on the first year in World Tour?
No, of course not. But then if he wants to lead a Giro, that's just realistically not going to happen in 25 at Visma, based on the 24. Whereas Decathlon, they have gaps. Baudin, O'Connor, Valentin out. Felix Gall can...
Man, they've got a gigantic hole. They don't have gaps.
But that's what I mean. And they got good equipment. Their performance environment's clearly improved. And they want... I don't know why. They just want Scandinavians. I think someone's already told me why. They messaged me, but they really want Scandinavians. Maybe they thought Bissegger, because the Swiss flag kind of looks like the Danish one, same color scheme. Maybe they thought he was Danish. But they...
That would be such a logical explanation.
I often forget he's Swiss too. I think he's just kind of mixed Northern European. So,
the Bissegger roasting on this podcast is off the chart. Poor man.
Poor guy. Probably he's going to fucking win 3 World. He's going to win 3 World Tour races next year.
European champion time trial, Tour de France time trial.
Wins on Peragoud, puts 20 seconds into Poggy and Vingegaard. Like, what the fuck? I thought you were 80 kilos.
Yeah. But
imagine.
But they listened to you last year. Last year we started our AG2R preview, and let's just say we were not so favorable towards the lead-out situation for Sam Bennett. I think you mentioned Gotera, which
there wasn't one.
I was trying to be nice and not so favorable. They've got Tord Gudmestad, which is the lead out for Christoph, and I actually think that's...
Dude, he's cracked.
I think
he's better than Bennett. Did you see his lead outs in Crow Race?
It's not very difficult to be better than Bennett in fucking 2025.
Can someone explain to me how they got this guy from UnoX?
They put an offer, and UnoX, well, and Gudmestad was like, I'm coming to you.
Like, he won Veenendaal. He, if you go and look at his lead outs for Christoph in Crow Race at the end of the year in October, he was hand wrapping those stages to Christoph. Like, this guy looks really quite good as a lead out. So maybe they just offered him a load of money to be the lead out for Bennett. I don't know. Maybe a sprint option in the minor calendar.
Wow.
But
Kind of
another
inexpensive.
Norwegian.
Sorry. It's a Boston Hagen replacement if Boston Hagen was a good lead out in 2024.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't really mention, but yeah, Bennett, like we said, we thought it would be a bad signing. It was a bad signing. I don't care that he won
Mate.
all the Dunkirk stages.
Come on.
Yeah.
Give him some credit. We nearly did an emergency podcast. Is Sam Bennett back?
No, we did not. No, that's not true.
Imagine if we did.
Yeah. Because they spent a lot of money on him and Lefay
Hot take.
last year.
Sam Bennett wins a World Tour stage in 2025.
It's possible. Like he's not going to be like he was in Quickstep. He doesn't have the lead up, but his actual physical shape this year was very good in terms of fitness. Second in the hard Dauphiné opening stage. We laugh about Dunkirk, but actually go and look at the stage he won uphill and against the riders he won, and you're like, holy shit, that's not just a flat sprint. His level was actually quite good.
I'm not going to look back at the Catherine stage in my off season.
But he just paying him too much money for who he is. But so Goodman Stad, I would say, is good signing. Stein admits it. GC prospect. They need one desperately. That all makes sense. They then bring up 5 guys from the Devo team. And 4 from the Devo team, 1 from the junior team. I'll go first with Noah Isidore. He is 20. He's just like a good all round like puncher. More than just he's on he's on a Neo Pro contract. Perfectly good signing. Erasmus Sorberg Pedersen. He is a classic sprinter. He dusted Tim Thorn Teutenberg and a couple of Olympias Tour sprints in horrible conditions in the wind, and also Hjelte Kransen was there, and he dusted him in those sprints too. So he is a classics sprinty boy. Who else they got?
Leo Bizio, who got top 5 at L'Avenir and 6 at Giro Next Gen. Does he also do another discipline? I don't know 100% for sure.
Yeah, he does cyclocross.
Okay. I somewhat remembered something like that. Anyway, sounds like a talented rider to me. Oscar Chamberlain, I gotta be honest, he was a super promising junior 2 years ago, but his U23 season last year didn't shout to me instantly to the World Tour team. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does, of course. He didn't... he basically top 10 one race all year, and mostly he's really out of the running for all these races. I don't know if he was affected by injury. He had a big gap between March and May where he had some DNFs in, soft races. So it just makes no sense. I don't know why he's being brought up to the World Tour team. Maybe because he was such a hype junior, he already got this contract 18 months ago.
So.
Yeah.
I lean towards that as well.
Yeah, he needs another year in U23.
I think so too, but does that first year U23 mean that he can't break out like he did in junior? No, it's possible. But with those results, you'd expect him to be one more year in U23 and maybe then step up if his results go to the better end. But the last name, I'm going to lead him to you because this man's been a name that we've had over our lips a few times already this year. And it's nice to see that the World Tour team of AG2R, Decathlon AG2R, can sustain that talent. Paul Sisha, 18-year-old climber, describe this man.
Yeah, huge prospect, GC prospect. He's going to be the next man who's he's going to be the kind of Frenchman win the Tour de France. Much more realistic to be a Grand Tour GC rider than Lenny Martinez for a number of reasons. Mm-hmm. Like, first of all, his climbing level, if you look at his climbs in, where's Switzerland? He did a Swiss race. Tour de Pays Vaux on Villars-sur-Orlan. He put 1 minute 23 into Pericas, who's a good Spanish climber, on a Unipuerto Villars-sur-Orlan. God, that must be the most trafficked climb by a race this year. A million reps up.
I swear I've seen this a million times this year.
Yeah, he did big watts there for 30 minutes. He won okay, fine. Oh, flashy French junior climber.
Yeah.
I've seen them, Ella. I've seen a million of them. Lenny Martinez, etc.
Yep.
Okay. Wins men junior world championships in the time trial on a pancake flat course in Zurich. Lenny Martinez couldn't do that. And then his sprint is nasty. He actually has like a nasty kick on him. So he's all round.
1.84 m. PCS is 59 kilos. It feels a bit, I don't know.
He's going to have to
feels
fill
a bit
out
to the bottom limit. Does that not make sense? It's like, I'm not sure that data is correct, but that's on the limit, no?
Yeah, I think it is correct. I think he's very, very, very slight, but that's because he's just turned 18. I would assume as he goes to 20, 21 years old, matures, he'll put on a couple of kilos of muscle. It'd probably be a good idea for
I think so too.
Resilience, sprint, etc. So he,
even
as
if he
you
gains
said,
3 kilos, 4 kilos, it's still GC level weight, eh?
Yeah. It's not like 62 is too much, especially if the TT is there and his punch is there. So he's a huge prospect. 3-year deal, 25 to 27. He is, in terms of guys more likely to win the Tour or podium the Tour in 7 years, let's say in 2032, him and Lorenzo Finn are more likely than Philipsen, I think. And so I think it's pretty exciting that Decathlon get one of these generational talents. And if he is that guy, then he pays for the whole investment in the Devo team and the junior team, that they've spent.
Yep, I fully agree with that. It's a talent I'm looking forward to seeing explore. I'm curious what races he's going to be racing for this team. Is he going to be sent to those Tour du Var kind of races as well in the first 3 months of the year to see what he can do in those type of races? Potentially. I would hope so, but also in a combination with, I still want to see this guy to 11 here in the coming years. I want to see him do those U23 races as well, despite being in the World Tour team. So I'm looking forward to see this rider and the rest of these upgraded riders from the Dev team as well. It's always lovely to see the youth development pipeline of these World Tour teams work in the way that they were shamed to work in the first place. Now, have they filled the massive hole that Ben O'Connor, Parapente, and Baudin made? No, but with these dev riders, potentially in the future that can be the case. But the question is, what will happen until then?
Yeah, that's the issue, is that they got to keep the sponsors happy when they're not going to be competitive in the Tour de France in GC.
Yeah.
And by competitive, I mean really, but his TT's dog shit. He has descending issues. I mean really, like, he might be there on a few mountain stages, like in 2023 in Alsace when he was there with Poggi and Jonas attacking him. You're like, what's that? But his consistency is a problem. So yeah, but they have the luxury of time, Benji. They got the long-term sponsor commitment.
Yep.
Points-wise, they're good for this cycle. So next year they can fully just build, and then by mid-next point cycle, these guys should be scoring results. So yeah, they can take the time to develop a French GC prospect like him. I think that being said, let's be a bit more critical.
Bissiger,
they have no A Classics leader.
Yeah.
They have they have no A 1 week GC leader, unless you say Felix Gall, and they have no second or third tier Grand Tour leader.
And I feel like it really comes out, like you said, they don't have like that A-class cobble leader. But is it worth investing in that for a team like this? I don't think so. I don't think that's the place you want to invest right now. If you put more money into this team, it shouldn't be going to that A-class leader on the cobbles. Now they've got Naesen, Bissiger, Gotera, De Bond, Allegaard, De Pestel, Goodmestad, Rasmus Soyber, Pedersen or something as like the cobble candidates. You're not going to win a cobble classic with that. You're hoping you can top 10 a few of them with that team. In the Hill Classics, it's a bit different. It's Cosnefroid, La Perre, La Faye, if he steps up again. Maybe the likes of Godon for something like Brabantse Pijl, that kind of vibe. That's there as well. Are you going to win those races? Cosnefroid could pick one up. Lapera could compete maybe for an Amstel if he steps up again. Lafay, if he steps up, maybe can compete for something. But it's really, if you have the money, you want a GC rider next to Gal. But that costs a lot of money.
It does, but yeah, and when I look at their transfers, I think they've not gone crazy. Yeah, the Bissiger one, both of us really don't like. Like, if you're going to go for Bissiger, you may as well have gone for Søren Kragh Andersen just to make yourself better in the classics. And he's also Danish, which they seem to like. So
I do expect Søren Kragh Andersen to be more expensive than Bissiger.
Yeah. But I don't think it's too different. Maybe it is. Maybe it's double. But
I'd lean to double, personally.
Yeah. But you're right. They're really missing something in GC, unless Stan Limited might step up, but I think he's more of a project. So it's not like we'd expect him to be. Who was out of contract? That's the thing, we forget who was out of. Remember, Hindley was out of contract. Yates was out of contract. O'Connor. They were the big three GC riders out of contract, right?
Would you also not like to have an extra sprinter next to Bennett?
That's also the issue. Is they also don't have an A sprinter, so they don't have an A Classics rider, an A sprinter, or an A GC rider for 1 week or Grand Tours, and they have a lot of sort of punchy guys, which like Lapera, Cosnefroid, etc., or Lafay.
Yep,
What would you have done
agree.
differently?
Well, I wouldn't have gone Bissiger, that's for sure.
I would have gone for Vlasov.
Whether that's financially feasible, I don't know. I would expect so based on the O'Connor money going out. Yeah. But then if you look at their incoming transfers, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of riders that are not going to be on a lot of money. From the riders coming in, it wouldn't shock me if Seychel's one of the more expensive riders in the damn list.
Yes.
It's a junior, so it's difficult to guess, but...
And that's where I think they maybe made the mistakes with the 2024 signings. They spent too much money there, perhaps. And some of those riders are coming off the books at the end of 2025.
My solution is getting a bunch of washed sprinters, hoping one gets better. Just get Viviani and all those Bennett, Viviani, all those kind of sprinters. Just for the memes. Do it, please. Would be the worst spend of money, but hey, get Marc Sarrault back from Groupama FDG.
Marc Sarrault.
He can do the Poitou round of 2 years ago.
So what is their classics team then for 2025?
Well, couple classics. I'm thinking about Naesen, Bissiger, Gotera, and so forth. The Bond, etc. For me, that's getting top 10s at Cobble Classics. Hill Classic, Cosnefroid, Lapera, Lafay, Godon. But outside of that, I can't think of anything. Maybe send O'Connor to l'LBL if he goes to the Tour de France.
O'Connor's on a different team now.
Well, Jesus fucking Christ. Sorry, but it's 6:11 here. I'm extremely tired. For me, O'Connor is back at Age des Zero already. Sorry.
I don't think he knows that.
I don't think so either. O'Connor's not going to be to LBL, that's for sure. And there's also a descendant LBL, so you can't send Gal either. But they're focusing Grand Tours as the biggest change. Because Ben O'Connor isn't there, so it's a lot more stage victories hunting, right?
Yeah, and that's the riders they have. They've got Armorel, Lapera, these punchy guys, Lafay, who can be lethal in breakaways. So I think, Giro, I'd probably send a bunch of breakaway hunters. The problem is that those guys also do the Ardennes, so it's difficult to schedule those guys for the Ardennes and the Giro. I would then, Vendrame, and then Stan Limited can go for GC. In the Giro, then in the Tour de France, it will be, whether you like it or not, Felix Gall will go for GC. Listen, 5 mountaintop finishes, no descent finishes. It is actually a good route for Felix Gall and a mountain TT. It's as good a route as he could hope for. I think he should top 10 at least. He already did it. I think it's a really good route for him.
How much time does Felix Gall lose before Peraguda starts?
Yeah, on the 3Ks, 5 minutes.
Imagine if you lose 5 minutes on the flat. A 3K
in
flat
3
segment.
kilometers. It'd be hard to do. So that's, I mean, they got to be happy with that at least. Then there's a lot of punchy stages for Cosnefroid in the Tour de France.
Yeah.
So in Muda Britannia, he can try and win, or Lafay can try and win. So I think they got to be really, really happy with the Tour de France route. And the Vuelta, we don't know the route yet. Probably Godon Sprint, or maybe Bennett to the Vuelta. I don't know. It might actually be the right idea. I think they're going to have a much worse year, though, Benji, in the wins column.
They had 30 victories with 6 World Tour victories. That's a reminder. I think they're going to go to 14 victories, of which there's going to be like 3 World Tour.
Yeah, exactly. Without a sprinter, without an A, as I said a number of times, without an A rider in each of those 3 categories, it's just hard to win a lot of World Tour races. And there's not so many breakaways anymore. I'm going to go with 4 World Tour wins. I think they're still going to clean up these French Mickey Mouse races. I'm going to go with 18 victories, 4 at World Tour level. And I think they're going to be, instead of 6th in the ranking, 9th in the ranking. So still fine, still good, but just not as good as this year.
Yeah. Okay. That's the Decathlon AG2R.
Any hot takes?
Well, my one hot take was Sam Bennett winning a World Tour race.
I think he can. Yeah.
Stop saying that every single hot take I make is not hot enough. He's going to win 7 Grand Tour stages. Is that what you want to hear?
He's not going to win 7. That'd be a lot.
Going to win on the Champs-Elysees. Okay.
They just got to get their. No. They got to get their Cosnefroid and Lafay performing, and Aurelien Paris-Pancher performing, and then that's. Can they win LBL?
No.
No, you don't think so?
No.
Of all the monuments, LBL's their best chance to win. Didn't they have 3 guys in the chase group this year?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but...
And they refused to collaborate and let Van der Poel come back and they missed out on a podium?
If you have 1% chance of... No, if you have 0.01% chance of podiuming RVV, Roubaix, Lombardia, and so forth, then having 0.005% chance to win LBL is having the best chance. But I'd argue maybe, like, is there a chance that an Oliver Naesen is now overseen and can go into like an early group in Roubaix or something? That's a possibility, but he's not really that type of rider to do that in the first place, so I don't expect that, you know?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think their best Cobble Classics rider will already be Rasmus Pedersen. And they need to do Depana, they need to do Shoulder Price, they need to do these races for him.
Yeah. Cold take, bro.
Oliver Naesen set in Flanders
as best cobble rider.
Pierre Gauthier. He's just quite small. But yeah, he was good in envelope. Okay, that was Decathlon AG2R La Mondiale. The brown shorts are gone. Ben O'Connor's gone.
They've been gone forever.
They've been gone for a year, but some big talents are coming in. Stan and Mitte Sayashas. They're rebuilding, and we'll see what they can do next year. Still some obvious gaps in the roster, but otherwise, I would say, are they the most exciting of the French teams? Yeah, by far, for their future.
I would argue.
Oh, easily. Lenny's gone out of Groupama now.
Can we have a final Quack Aurora after the season? Come on.
Quack Aurora. That's all. I will leave you with that. I hope you enjoyed it. See you with, I'm not sure what team it is next week. Ciao.